same time every day, even though I don't like Mondays. Hey, welcome. I'd like to welcome everybody. Thank you for checking us out and being on here. I wish I could see who was on there, but our format is a little different. So just bear with me. And also bear with me. I like to thank everybody because it's an honor and a privilege for Queenie and I to have so many people that are following us. So I like to read off the top 10 names that I've written down. Hey, Queenie.
Is this the top 10 for this week or the top 10 for what?
Top 10 for August 24th, 2020.
Yay.
Members or please help me. We were saying forever friends. No.
Faithful friends on purpose.
Thank you. See, she helps me all the time. Faithful friends on purpose. So I would just like to read off, and I apologize ahead of time because I will probably mispronounce the last name. So bear with me.
I'm glad my name is easy because I have the same problem.
Yeah.
That's why we decided to go to Doc and Queenie, because I can't do Laura Christine or Kathy Weaver. So yeah.
Yeah, we've got simple names, you know. So, but I'd like to thank Andrea Anus, Jill Kiefer, Judy Lager, Keisha O'Neill, Mary Hiesberger, Rebecca Hinton, Sally Rogers, Tonda Poston, Tracy Williams, and Laura Linstra for joining and being our members. So it's awesome.
Super fun.
I actually, out of that list, know everybody for a change.
That's the best news of all. And we talked last week about how we've met so many of these ladies through networking. And that is one of my passions in the whole world. And just like this cross behind me, a sweet friendship. Oh my gosh, that for me is what it's all about. And talk about the faith piece and getting to know these ladies on a bigger scale just by the one-on-ones. And I know you do a lot of those now too, especially via Zoom.
Yes, I am. I'm hot and heavy into one-on-one stuff. It's been good, you know. But I am also, as you know, Queenie, you know me pretty well now. I like to be out and about, out in the community. But with stuff that's happening, it's always about changing and adjusting, and going with the flow too. So, and I know you've changed too from the networking, because you used to be, big time. I'd always be like, "Where are you going today?" And you'd have 50,000 networking meetings stacked in a row, and
yeah, that has changed, of course. And I have learned a hard word. It's a super hard word for someone like me, and it's called pivot. And that is a little violation of my forever theme. I'm flexible as long as you don't change anything.
Yeah. Yes, I hear you.
Those kind of things have been a little bit interesting for me. But honestly, going out in the world, as we call it, a few times, as far as being able to meet some of the ladies in person has been awesome. When we do that, and when you were mentioning those names, one of the things that instantly came to my mind is, look at what our names are as far as identifiers. And now it is a funny thing to be out or even on a Zoom call that's not even related to the Doc and Queenie, and somebody will go, "Oh my gosh, it's Queenie."
Yes.
Name has apparently really taken hold. And so there, when people say what's in the name, I can see where there's really a lot of identifier going on with that.
Yes, I agree, and we've talked about this in the past too, the whole name piece of, you see a person, well, as you said, when I was reading through that list, I can look at the list and I can say, oh, this person I met when I worked over here, and oh, that's a networking person, and oh, there's a person from church, and
Absolutely.
those are all different. And you also think about that person, their personality, when you look at their name too. So, and I, of course, when I work with people, how are you showing up? How are you showing up in the world? That ties into that of, are you tagged as a whiner or a negative person, or always angry, or, an overreactor, or are you sweet and kind and gentle, or funny, or, or whatever, that there is an attachment to names. I mean, well, and, you go back, I think about just in Bible studies and stuff, they talk about how names, 2,000 years ago meant things. And I don't know, nowadays we don't go, oh, I don't even know what the meaning of my name is. I can't remember, or even yours. But, they were very specific on how they chose names and what that represented.
You look at those two and you see the names that people choose now, you certainly want to know what the thought process is. Because sometimes when I have actually looked up the name, if it's an unusual name that I haven't heard before or haven't heard often, I look it up to see what is the biblical meaning of this name. And I'm sometimes puzzled because I think it's almost like you already set that child up for failure from a standpoint of, if that is going to be the legacy that they leave, you basically imparted that via their name. And that really is significant. And then some people name their kids after their family members. And it's a little tricky. I will say that's a little tricky also, because I love the sound of some of the names that we've had in our families over the years. And you do look back and go, huh, what was I thinking?
Well, I know, a little story, and that my daughter Megan, who was very thankful when she had found out some of the family names, and ours is Mary Alice together. And she's like, thanks, Mom, for not naming me that. And actually, I was thinking about it, but I left her name up to Jim on that one. So
yeah, that's my kids have a lot to be thankful for. We've gone a lot of different directions, and so yeah. But you do think about with the legacy piece, what's in a name? What does it mean? And just like you said, for me, the whiner part, or are you a magnet to happy and joyful? That really does resonate with me because I have taught, I guess you would say, for years, the piece on leadership. What is your identifier?
Right.
What is your identifier? And the first word out of your mouth when you're doing your infomercial, or just when somebody says, tell me about you, the first words out of your mouth is really your identifier. I'm a what? And so that is significant also. Oh my gosh, you're making me hungry. What is that behind you again? Oh my.
We've got beans. Lots of beans. I'm really into beans because they're coming in right now. And
so healthy. And
I never know which way to go.
Yeah. Just looks like dancing. It's all.
I just make myself dizzy. And then the yellow. Oopsie, wrong way again. I've got those yellow cherry tomatoes.
Oh my gosh, they're delicious too.
They're great. I love those. I think I was telling you about that, and I don't remember if we were talking on this actually last week, but people are like, yellow, but they are more mild. They're not as acidic, which is kind of cool.
Didn't you say that you actually put yellow tomatoes in your salsa?
Yeah, I mix the yellows and the reds. Yeah, it just gives a different flavor. Oh dear, there's our picture. Yeah, yeah, actually,
it's a matter of being out and about, and that's pretty fun. We can't go incognito anywhere anymore because your car is RevDoc 7 and my car is I'm a 6A. So
bright red. Yeah.
They can find us no matter what. So we do have to be careful, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, but I was wondering about the salsa with the yellow tomatoes because they really seriously are delicious. I didn't know what to expect, of course, because I'm kind of a whatever Whole Foods is selling, that's what I got going on. And now I go to natural grocers because of you. So when I look at those things, I think, but there's nothing like a homegrown tomato from Doc's Garden. Let me tell you that, ladies.
Well, just hang on. They're coming in. In. Yeah. So yeah. So to flip, Queenie. So why don't we haven't introduced our businesses or anything that way. I'm struggling. It's Monday.
I know Monday.
Long weekend.
Yeah. I know Monday is definitely your favorite day.
But how about if you tell us about your business? This would be a good segue into just a little blurb on what we do. And I'll start.
Thank you for that, actually, because what I was just now filling in on Facebook. I joined a new Christian women's networking business group on Facebook. Okay. What they asked us to do was identify ourselves, introduce ourselves, and there's several thousand ladies on this page. So actually what I said is, obviously, I'm Kathy Weaver with the Kangen Water Company, a 46-year-old water technology company that literally allows you to not have to haul cases of bottled water to your home office now. And that way you don't have to deal with the plastic either. A lot of people, to be honest with you, have said, my recycle bin is a nightmare. Well, all of the water that they've been hauling in, if the stores even have water now, now they've got to do something with all that plastic. And I just keep thinking these recycle bins, these trash hauler company refuse places, oh my gosh, those recycle bins are outrageous. And I think, where are those bottles going to be when my babies are my age? And I think about it. rest of the intro for me is my 3 books. I'm allowed now to be able to train globally. Was kind of fun because I got to do Canada a couple weeks ago, and that was fun. And so 2 of my networking books, and then the other one I have on grief and survivorship. So that's a little bit about me. I can't wait to hear about the one and only Beyond Basic Health. What's going on with, oh my goodness, and your blog, of course.
Here we go. There's the little.
Your podcast. Mm-hmm.
I'm tech challenged, but I'm trying to stay with it here. Yes, I'm owner and creator of Beyond Basic Health, which is a naturopathic wellness company. And I've got a naturopathic background. I work, like we were talking earlier, I work with people one-on-one to help them with their health. You know, diet's a buzzword. I help people. I don't say diet, I say change their lifestyle. So you don't have to use that word or go on a diet. And that is one piece of what I do. I also, and let's see if I can get my techie going here. I also do a podcast because my approach with everything is soul, body, spirit, how we think, how we eat, or what we eat, or what's in our environment, what we put into our bodies, on our bodies, and also how we are connected spiritually all affects us, who we are, how we, who we are, what our body is, how it functions. And my Mighty Morning Moment podcast just throws out short little 3 to 6 minute thought processes to get people to think. I also pray for people on there too. Sometimes God tells me, hey, there's a bunch of people that need to be prayed for. So I get that. And then I do the Rev Doc 7, like we've been seeing all over the place. And that is, I do my gardening piece on that. I'm an avid gardener.
Gardener.
Yeah, from a gardener. And, I love to garden. I love to teach people about gardening. It seems to, unfortunately, not many people do it because a lot of people don't have time or used to. I don't know how that's changed much with the COVID thing with people staying home. I would hope everybody would be out in their gardens growing things, but that's the other piece. So I have like little mini training things on YouTube, and it's RevDoc7 on the YouTube channel. So that is me. And then of course there's Doc and Queenie, which that's a whole new adventure, and we're having a riot. So this is
yes,
fun.
We definitely are. Every single time you talk about the gardening piece, honestly, I think about the things I've learned about you as far as your father, your parents gardened. And so somehow that gets into your blood, and then you've taken it to level 5 million, it looks like. And with the different videos and things that you've done, how to this and how to that, I would never in 1 million zillion years, FYI, have known that there were purple potatoes, nor did you grow purple potatoes in a bag in the backyard. I would never have known any of that. And when you did your video, I got to see that actually. And that was a new experience for me. I don't know, I guess you get it from a potato tree was what I thought, but everything.
I get from the store.
yeah, well, that's plus if they deliver, that kind of revs it up better. So yeah, that's how picky I am. But I love the fact that you teach us that. And you know the other thing that you have taught me because of your podcast, and I mean this for real, the diet word is not a bad one. Because as soon as you change diet to lifestyle choices, it will no longer, oh my gosh, I've got to lose 500 pounds by my class reunion, or change your story, and all of a sudden the choices that you make will make more sense. And you have definitely taught all of us that as far as diet's not a bad word anymore. It's a lifestyle choice, and you're great with that.
And like you and I have talked, I mean, really a lot of, if we all have issues. We all have issues.
Who are you talking to there?
I will be the first to admit I am not perfect. I'm not even close.
I know.
And I'm sure I have some issues that stick out here and there, but it's all the way we think. It's all this that we've talked about it before, stories in your head, and that really does affect. And to swing that back around to what you opened with what is your name? How are you seen out in the world, or how do people take in when they're watching you what kind of person you are? Are you a happy, or are you a Debbie Downer, or that just rhymes. I'm not poking at anybody with the name Debbie, but
yeah. The But that really, and you think about those kind of things, that's for real. And one of the things we were actually talking about this weekend is the network piece. How big is your network? When you go somewhere, do you talk to people? Do you look up or do you look down? And certain people who shall remain nameless who go to a certain coffee shop that's like, oh, amazing. And you talk to the barista, do you get to know where they're from? How long have they been doing this? Where did they come from? What city, state, country were they born in? Those are the fabulous things for me about expanding one's network. And it's just a matter of chin up, look at someone's eyes if that's all you get to see now, and at least talk to them. And we have met some phenomenal people because of the network piece, and not even networking, just network. And I love to make our network bigger. And now we have a huge opportunity with the Zoom Facebook Live platform.
Oh, definitely. And like you said, and networking is just, who knows how many people you've touched by just saying, hi, how's it going? I moved my daughter into school recently, and I was talking to her RA and asking
What
her,
does
what
RA
do you,
stand for?
oh, resident assistant. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Think about
Just
that.
checking. There's a lot of acronyms out there. Just checking.
Yeah, we were standing 6 feet apart with our masks on, and I'm asking this. Okay, she's a kid to me because she's my daughter's age,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm like, how's it going? How's it going with everything? And what are you going to graduate with? When are you going to graduate? And you could see the tension because there were tons of people moving in at the same time, and there was a lull, and I asked her how she was doing, and what I could tell, seemed to brighten up, and we probably talked for 5 or 10 minutes, and
That's
then I got to know who she is. And now, whether it's fortunate or unfortunate, my daughter now has an RA who knows who she is. So
yeah,
but yeah.
yeah, good job.
Yeah, thanks, Mom. But it is all about relationship, and that whole networking, now that we can't see face to or can't be face to face in a public place. Yes, it's different, but I think we should still hang on to the same piece of, it's about getting to know people. That should be the first piece, not how can you give me money or your network. It should be, I know Kathy likes onions. Did you know Kathy likes onions? Well, if you didn't, you need to have a Zoom with her so you can hear all about onions. It's as simple as that. That's the way I look at it.
Well, don't you think for some people that takes effort, which means they're going to have to do the reach out part? And
Yes.
Are they willing to do that? I mean, that hangs your vulnerability thing all over the place.
That's true. That's true.
And so what if I talk to you, and what if I like you, and now we're going to chat, and now what? And so I think maybe I don't know if that's the resistance part.
And that is, and I'm not downplaying people that feel that way. I used to, okay, don't laugh. I used to be quiet and shy. I used to really be quiet and shy many years ago. But, and it's easy for me to say because it's not that I don't care, but I am who I am, and yes, I do stick my foot in my mouth quite often. But people that know me,
I think I'd be a gymnast.
yeah, I can actually do the splits and put my foot in my mouth all at the same time.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, it is a challenge. But being stuck, staying in a stuck state, if that's what's going on, that's not healthy either. Even if you take a baby step of just saying hi to somebody or just reaching out and say, hey, I was thinking about you. It takes time. It takes baby steps. And also personality ties into it too. We talk about the bank system. I'm an A, which is I move quickly. I move fast. I'm very outgoing. I don't wait for a lot of things, right? Wouldn't you say that's true, Queenie?
I would say that's right on the money there, Doc.
And I have to slow down a lot, but that's my personality, and I thrive with talking and getting to know people. Some people are just quiet and shy, and they're fine in the corner. And we're not trying to pull you out of the corner, but it's kind of that, if you want something to change, you kind of have to inspire yourself to change it, because nobody else is going to do that for you, really.
I do think, but that's back to the effort thing. And in the bank system, as you mentioned, I'm a B, which is the calculated person and the structured person and the organized person and all of those things. And so for me, the outgoing part does not come naturally. And that's the piece for me that has been the concentrated, purposeful effort. But the blessings I have received by my effort have been phenomenal. And that's why I wanted to encourage the ladies who are joining us today, and we thank you for being here 1,000,000%. If things continue as they are right now for the next couple weeks, months, years, whatever that looks like, and one of our only sources of meeting and finding new people is no longer the in-person networking, chamber of commerce, no excuses networking, coffee club, whatever that looks like, if we don't have a lot of those in-person choices anymore, then for me, it's going to have to be done online, which is to be a concentrated effort of meeting new people. And whether it's for your business, for your personal network, whatever that looks like. And you're super good at that, Doc. Have you found that your podcast, your YouTube channel, or your Facebook page has been the piece that has made or allowed the ladies to get to know you better? Which do you think is actually your best platform?
It's a toss up between the YouTube and the podcast, and I don't do as many YouTubes because of time constraints. But I would say probably podcast is number one. Facebook, I always post general. I just try to make it positive all the time, and I'm posting vegetables and flowers all the time, and so that's probably how I'm known. Oh, there she goes again with flowers, But no, the podcast probably has the most impact. But when you put the three pieces together, you can kind of see. And then this of course, people get to know us this way.
It has been so much fun because, like I say, even when I'm on other Zooms and somebody says Queenie's here, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, I guess I never thought that reach would be so big. But fun.
It's awesome. Yeah, I sometimes I'm like, what was your name again? Yeah.
I know, and I call you Doc always, practically since the day I met you. So somebody says something about who is that lady, and I'm going, it's Doc.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's back to the identifier piece. What do we look like showing up in the world? And one of the things I learned in one of my coaching classes is we are here, we as a community, as a world of believers, we are here to grow heaven. Right. That is one of my faves in the world, because when you think about that, it's like we are here to grow heaven. With those ladies behind you, that looks like what you're doing already. That's awesome.
Those are some of my buddies.
Wow.
From church. That's about a year ago, but it's all about friendship, and this was just one night we went out. I think we went out to a winery or something, and we just had a blast, just hanging out, catching up, talking. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate. It's just
a lot of people doing that now, taking pictures everywhere they go, because look what would have happened if you said, I don't need to take a picture tonight. You wouldn't have this cool memory for you and the ladies.
Right. Exactly. So, no, I networking, one little piece at a time, I think like what you're saying is putting yourself out there, whether it's using the formats of podcasts or YouTubes or Facebook, get yourself out there, meet people. That's easy for me to say. I'm doing that. I'm getting on my soapbox. I apologize, but
but that if like I say, if we're going to be in this condition for a while, I do feel that there's going to need to be an effort made, and that it's not comfortable sometimes, maybe.
No.
But literally,
no, it isn't.
On a Zoom and go. And Zoom is, I've been using it before. It was cool. I've been Zooming before I knew it was awesome.
You're a Zoomer.
I am a Zoomer. But for 4 years now, this is some of the only way I've been able to train some of my water family, because they're not all local anymore. So
Right.
I had to learn Zoom way back when to be able to do videos and share screens and things like that before I even knew we were going to need Zoom. And
right. Exactly.
I love it.
I do too. It's fun. I think the whole thing is fun. The networking meetings I've been to, it's fun. And it beats jumping in the car some days and the hustle and bustle of that. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
the
still have
W
to be.
word is coming up. So when the W word comes up, we're going to be in the house of snow and ice and all those things I don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
But if winter's here again and the condition continues as it is, you're right. Jumping in the car is going to be a different look.
Yeah, I do not like ice. I don't know many people that do like to drive on ice. I'm not an ice driver.
Thank goodness. Amen.
Yeah,
Thank you, Lord.
I say I used to ice skate as a kid, and that was funny because I never learned to stop. So I would
Yeah.
just kind of twirl. People
Yeah.
would be looking at me like, "What are you doing?" I'm stopping. Yeah, yeah,
Someday I'm going to be
yeah,
stopping. Yeah.
yeah.
That is awesome. And have you been to any in-person networking meetings yet?
No, I have not. I have not. But I know you were at least at one. Have you been at one or two? I'm trying to remember how
Just
many.
one. Yes,
Just one.
so far
Okay.
just one. I've done a couple one-on-ones in person, but only one.
I've done a couple of one-on-ones also. Yes.
Yeah.
In,
And
in,
but most of the networking I have been doing has been on Zoom, and
that's
that
awesome.
way I get to actually see the people. And the cool part is I'm in a coaching group out of Las Vegas, and that's been super fun because, and it's not only Las Vegas because there's several states represented now, but that has been super fun because a lot of times the coach allows several of us to speak about what's happening in our actual communities. And that's a perfect example of we are all in this together. And
Right.
to me, there's only one way, look up. Otherwise, what would
Right.
we be doing? And to be able to form these friendships. One of the girls on the class is in Singapore right now. And so she is learning a whole lot about what's happening. She grew up there, but she's learning a whole lot about what's going on now. I love that. And I know your
Me
community
too.
is people that don't live just in Kansas at this time.
No, I just recently I've had a few people from Britain and Ireland, and I just had somebody yesterday from Australia reach out. So that was kind of cool, and of course I'm attracted to that because I'm a traveler. So I'm like, once that, starts getting lifted, who knows?
As soon as
Who
they
knows?
say hop on the plane and come and visit me, I feel like you're going to be right there. What do you think?
Perhaps, you have to twist my arm, maybe.
Yeah, I'm
So,
thinking. Well, that's
so, but
exciting to be in so many. You're international Rev Doc 7
I
now.
guess I am. I guess I am. It's kind of crazy, but fun. Yeah. It's just neat. And I was going to say, speaking of, we've been talking about having like throw out a little challenge or a little, yeah, I guess you could call it a challenge for everybody. How about our challenge for this week, Queenie? Whoever's watching, whoever's going to watch this, reach out to one person, maybe one of us or both of us, do a Zoom. Or if you're local, we're in the Kansas City metro, if you want to do a one-on-one, we could do, there's a few coffee shops, a few places open, things seem to be opening up too. So that would be my challenge for everybody, is reach out. Even if you're that person over in the corner that's shy and quiet, one little step, that you'll be surprised. It's fun once you get it going. It's fun. I think that's the way I look at it.
Would you
I
have would you have thought a year ago when you came to that first meeting that networking is fun? Because you mentioned last week that you were hesitant, not necessarily thrilled, but basically
there's the picture.
there's the
Yes.
picture. When you first walked in and you were like, and but what you said that you told me is literally you felt relationships with these people and you got to learn their names because if names is not your strong suit, think about that.
Yeah, it takes, like we've talked, it takes me a couple of times to get everybody's name down. I recognize faces before I recognize names.
Yeah,
So I apologize now if I go, oh, hi, you'll know, like, okay, she's searching here, she's forgotten your name or not. It's not forgetting, it's just, it's like everything. I need to be around people a couple of times and then I got it. But yeah, no, I look at that picture and I know all of those people. I would call all of those people friends.
absolutely.
And I've networked in some regards to all of those people. It's been great, and I know each of their businesses. I know each of their personalities, and in my business, it's all about referrals and networking. And so I always have in the back of my mind, how it works from a business sense is if somebody is looking for we'll pick on Michelle if she's watching, legal work or whatever. Then I go, well, hey, have you ever heard of Legal Shield? And I'll pass them Michelle's name, or, where you need to work out, there's Judy, or safety, there's Mary, and I can do that going down that table on that picture. But
That's so cool.
it was, and you remember this, I was networking big time. I mean, it was 4 or 5 appointments back to back, 5 days a week. I did that for several months. And that's how I get to know people. That's how you get to know people. So.
And I also remember that you said, this is exhausting.
It is. Yes. Yeah, because didn't you do something crazy like that at one time? Weren't you, didn't you say you did 10 or 12 in a row?
Well, Networking on Steroids was my first book, was born on trying to see if once I saw what networking was all about, of course I had to push farther, harder, further.
Right.
And so I said, I wonder how many of these you could do in a day. And so, yeah. And so I said yes to every single invitation. I did 8 events in one day. And so by the end of the day, it was literally like explosive, but I had to see before I could teach it if it could be done. And it could be done, but the pay the price part is you're going to literally have to download that information into your brain, challenge. And then you're going to have to not only retain it, but get it back out there so you can go have one-on-ones with the people that you met so quickly. So that really is how Networking on Steroids was born, because I wanted to see if it could be done. And just like you said, looking at this picture, which I get to do right this second, getting to see the faces, the friends, the friendships that have happened has been amazing for me. But I'm sorry, Facebook reminded us that this is when Doc walked into No Excuses.
Scared to death. Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, what am I doing?
What am I doing and how am I going to do it?
Yeah. No,
I love that challenge. If you want to put it out there, I think that's fantastic.
Well, and of course I would love to meet somebody that I don't know. And even if I know you, hey, we got to catch up. And that's part of the relationship piece. I actually last week made a conscious effort to reach out to people that I haven't talked to in a while. And I called, and I think I was telling you this, Queenie, I called one gal that we went to church with like 20 years ago. Of course, I talked to her more than that, but I hadn't talked to her in over a year.
Oh, wow.
So I caught up with her and her family and all that stuff. And we talked for probably half hour, 45 minutes, but it's just, it's all about connect. It's all about connecting.
And that made me think, as soon as you said that, it's another chance, not only necessarily for a specific ministry piece, but when somebody says, how are you doing? I have actually had people say to me, well, how do you think I'm doing? We're locked up. And I'm going, oh my gosh, that is not how I feel about this time.
Yeah.
I know you're still on vacation.
I am still on vacation. Yes.
24 weeks of vacation for you. But I don't feel locked up or locked down. I feel pivot. And I'm actually, believe it or not, fine with the pivot, because I've gotten to meet people I wouldn't have been able to. I haven't made any friends yet in Australia as you have, but that's—
Are you jealous?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. But I do. I when people, you say, how are you? Or catch me up on what's been going on in your life, you can tell the first few sentences that they're either struggling, yikes, or thriving, yay. And that's awesome. Do you do your one-on-ones via Zoom or on the actual telephone?
Uh-oh. I've done both.
Okay.
I'm hoping you can catch me. You were cutting out there for a second. Yes, I do both. Actually, the one-on-ones has been picking up since places are opening.
Oh, good. Okay.
But when I talk to somebody, I always say, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm always happy to, pivot and be flexible. I'm fine. And I was going to and I'm sidetracking just slightly here if we have a little bit of time.
Sure.
That's talking about how you're showing up and what we're talking about name. We also were talking about legacy. What's your legacy? What are you leaving? And if you think of it that way too, is like you just said with how we show up in the world. What's your legacy? Are you a helper? Are you happy? Are you a nasty, miserable person that, everything is just a drama? Because we are all in it together, and we're all created to be social and help each other. When you think about it, and then from our viewpoint, of course, a Christian standpoint, it's the way we show up in the world. God's got it. he's in control. We are only responsible for how we react or how we respond. So as hard as it gets, and it's hard, we're not discounting that this is challenging because businesses have,
Wow.
been slammed, families have been slammed, people have died, people have been sick. I mean, it's hard, and we're not discounting that at all. And even the connection piece and the networking and the relationship piece, if you don't have a friend and you're going through this stuff, it's hard. Yeah, I guess I'd be cranky or crabby. I haven't thought about that because I'm such a social butterfly, and I've been blessed with wonderful friendships. But reach out to one of us, even if you need somebody to talk to. That's what it's all about.
I think that's a perfect message too, because when you were speaking that, I felt like sisters in Christ right off the bat, and the discernment piece, the common denominator piece, the strength of Jesus piece, all of that. And for some people, they have said things like, I wish I had what you have. And the cool part is for both of us, especially with your being an ordained minister, we can make that happen, sister. And that really has been the fun part, to be able to pray, even over Zoom, which I have actually done with several different groups now, and they're very receptive to it, which is kind of fun. But to be able to actually do that and realize that we actually can lift each other up, I think is fantastic. And to have this platform used for that, I think is going to be another dynamic piece. One thing I did want to share, and I cannot believe I just looked at the clock again.
I know, it's almost done.
Yesterday, I was actually able once again to be on several different church Zooms, different churches around here. I love the pastors or the congregation or whoever that is. So I actually got to pop in on several, and you feel the difference, absolutely. But the common thread is hope, belief, strength, all of those fabulous words that we talk about all the time. And I just love that. So Doc, bring us home.
Wow. Okay, Queenie, where are we going? No, I'm just...
What? I'm always in the passenger seat, ready to go, girlfriend.
Australia, but I guess I don't think we can get out of the country yet. Probably not smart yet.
At least not driving, right?
Yeah. We could. Well, I don't know. Anyways, yes. It's all about connect. It's all about communication. It's all about friendship. And on behalf of Doc and Queenie, I would like to thank everyone for your support, joining our membership, being part of our family, our friends, and we are honored that you're part of this group. We love what we're doing. We want you to love it with us, and reach out to us. The challenge, of course, this week is reach out to us or somebody. Just say, hey, do that connect. It's all about connecting, because we're all in it together. So thank you.
That's beautiful.
How was that, Queenie?
I think you rocked it as always, Doc. Thank you so much for today, and I can't wait till next week at high noon.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Queenie. We'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.